before we go into a twist, I'm just gonna put a little more weight into my right foot, and I'm just sort of leaning to the right, okay? So I'm leaning and finding a little rock, and then backing off. We all have different bodies, so this is going to feel different slightly in all of us. So switch it up if you need to switch it up. If something else is calling you, go for it. Let's add the twist. Right hand to your inner right thigh. As I'm opening my knee, you can see my foot's going in line with it, and I still want to keep that rock. So I can just find a little bit more, opening the inner and then starting to get into your outer hip as well. Let's keep your knee open, and then maybe you can come up on the hands. If I add on and it's too much, skip it and just stay where you were at in the previous pose. So now as you can see, I'm going to be on my fingertips, and I'm still finding that rock, almost lowering down as if I'm in like a very awkward pigeon, right? So in and out, in and out. Let's ease your way up. Maybe we come to all fours and then switch it out. Left foot forward. Let's inch your right leg down the mat, and we'll start here working down to the forearms in our lizard lunge. So before we twist, I just want you to find that little bit of rock to the left. So kind of easing in and out. Nice. If we're adding on left hand to your inner left thigh, as I open, I want you to notice that I'm dipping my right hip to the mat. So I'm going to open my left knee, and I'm going to dip my hip. So I'm sending the weight, or sending my hips, almost to the back right corner of my mat. That's going to put a little more emphasis in my outer hip and glute on the left side. And then when I come back up, it's going to take it to the inside. So we're kind of moving between inner and outer. Couple breaths. If you are adding on, you're going to climb up to the fingertips and then keep that rocking action going. Be lowering your left knee a little closer to the mat. Again, really working further into the outer left hip. Let's come to all fours. Ooh, if you need, maybe a few hip circles. We're going to come all the way up into a straddle. Finding a nice wide straddle on your mat. Heels are going to pivot out, toes in just slightly. Give yourself a moment here to fold in. Lengthen the back of your neck. And then we're going to pivot our toes out, heels in. Almost like we're going to enter goddess. We're going to, but not quite yet. So start to pivot your heels in. And as you sink your hips to the height of your knees, I want you to find the shift side to side. This is very similar to what we were doing in Malasana. Take your hands to your knees. You're going to dip the right shoulder down as I open my right knee a little bit more, and then the left. Good. Heels in a little bit further. We're coming all the way up into goddess. I just want to ease in really deep and then out. So we're finding that maximum sensation and then easing out. But it's not really about holding the pose. I'm not trying to strengthen your quads in this one. Just go nice and deep into your hips. Good. Let's take it a little bit wider. Heels are going to pivot out again. We're going to find this like half squat here. Almost like a surfer pose. So not quite into Skandasana, just side to side. Sinking your weight over your right heel and then your left. Let's go once more each side. We'll take it all the way down, Skandasana, above your right heel. If you can't keep your right heel down, you can find that same idea of a rolled towel under the heel, or even lift your hips up until you can keep your heel grounded. Open across your chest, use your right shoulder to press on the inside of your right knee, and try to move your right knee further behind you to the right. Good. Fingertips to the mat. We're going to start to roll onto the top of your left foot and top of your left thigh, staying on the toes of your right foot. So it's going to seem a little weird, maybe feel a little weird. So I'm kind of rolling my left hip down